I truly, legitimately hope everybody watching this video right now had a fantastic day. This isn't no YouTube hack crap off the top, you know, just, well, I hope your day is filled with positivity and wonderfulness. No, legitimately speaking, and even if you did have a bad day, or maybe you're getting to the end of a, just kind of a troublesome week, you can rest easy knowing in your heart of hearts, you could not have possibly had a worse week than Anheuser Busch. Yo, yesterday we talked about the fact that they lost $5 billion over the course of just this week in particular. Now, not specifically, it didn't come out of their bottom line or anything. That's just talking about market cap, market valuation that they had. It went down from 131 to 126 billion dollars. Still a lot. They own a whole bunch of different brands, and it's not like they're going to go broke anytime soon. Sure, they went woke, but there's quite a bit of sap to drain out of that tree before it's ultimately dead and gone. But if they continue to have so many more days, quite like the one that they just had where they lost another $1 billion, now it's at $6 billion. Okay, if they continue down this trajectory, well, we know exactly how many more days they have left in the can, so they anticipating continuing on this track. Okay, if they want to continue to shotgun their potential future profits, well, 125 days to go, the final summer of Bud Light. But we know the bad times can't last forever, right? And ultimately, will they rebound? Not this week. Nobody's recovering like a 30 some odd, or I'm sorry, 5 full points. I don't know where I got the 30 came from, but it's just fun to note the deviation in language over the past few days. Like, check this. Our Bud Light's parent company has lost more than $6 billion in market capitalization since announcing its partnership with Polarizing. Yesterday or the day before, it was simply controversial. Now it's polarizing. Interesting. Are they starting to note that there's a change in the winds, if you will? Unveiled on April 2nd. No. It was on April 1st. Come on now. Let's get everything correct. The brand's alliance with 26-year-old Mulvaney has since incited outrage and calls for a boycott in what appears to be hitting Anheuser Busch where it matters the most, the wallet. Yes, a boycott that is actually working. In the days leading up to the announcement, shares in the Belgium-based brewer have been trading around $66. Now, that's not the case. Market closed Wednesday. The beer giant stock was trading roughly at $63, more than 5% decrease in Anheuser-Busch's total value or share value, a concept more commonly known as market capitalization. So the amount of money they could expect if they just immediately, this isn't supposed to be a pun, but no pun intended, if they were to go liquid on all of their brands, that's the amount of money that they could anticipate bottom level pulling in. So currently $125.73 billion. The company's market capitalization 6 days ago stood at $132.38 billion. Maybe that's where I got the 30 from earlier. Anyways, as Brass continues to stand by their deal with Mulvaney. But we have some interesting developments on that. But there's a wonderful little graph that we looked at yesterday. And as you could see, what was that, right about there? Yeah, that's where we were at last night, okay? We took a look at that and it's like, well, it looks like it's trending back up. Maybe it'll recover to what, the previous, April 10th number that's right there. It'll rebound to that. Nope, that just wasn't the case at all. How low can it go? We'll have to wait until tomorrow to see. But $6 billion, I read it, but I cannot fathom losing that much money, okay? Like, even for a company that's total valuation is still $125.73 billion. Losing out on 6 bills of that, that's significant change. Like, you could buy an NFL football team for the amount of money that you just lost, and that's definitely going to appreciate in value. Trannies, on the other hand, well, it's just about a 42% chance that the length of your endorsement deal is actually going to be capitalized on. I said, man, it's going to get better, or I'm sorry, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And this is something that I've been prognosticating when it comes to at least the trans athlete side of this stuff. Listen, somebody's either going to have to die, get seriously disfigured at a high level, or it's just going to have to descend into such absurdity that people finally turn the corner on it on a mass scale. And, well, when you get, oh my fucking when you get ad campaigns like this, holy, I think we gotta be getting close, even though I still think, I'm pretty sure that this June is going to be, it's going to be so goddamn wild. I don't even know what to do with it. A non-binary man, bruh, is anybody, okay, that dude walking into anywhere, is he gonna be mistaken for anything other than a dude? Just stop it with yourself. In an advertisement for Australian women's lingerie brand Honey Birdette, the brand shared images of a man with their 1.4 million Instagram followers with a caption saying that the women's brand fosters an inclusive and diverse environment. Somebody's just trying to secure the bag. Well, it looks like that lingerie does a very good job. But what's Dylan up to specifically, okay? Because we've talked about all of them's handiwork, but how you live in Twinkie Smalls, in mansions and Benzes. They don't understand me, trans activist. Dylan Mulvaney hits back at critics of Bud Light campaign as beer giant parent company. Suffers $3 billion loss. No, it's way worse than that now. Come on. As you can see, outside their hotel in Lower East Side of Manhattan, I think, or some shit like that. But it's interesting, right? Because we've seen side-by-side comparisons. Oh, yeah, there you go, right there. Yeah, Tuesday to Sunday. We're in the exact same shit. Yo, have the checks not cleared yet that you've been working towards? Because that would be very interesting as well. But yeah, for all of the backlash that's out there, okay, and then just more of the captions from the Rosie O'Donnell podcast, which you could pay me to watch that, or you could pay me to listen to that. And if I'm feeling extra spicy one of these days, we might do that on stream. Don't hold me to that, though. That sounds like torture. That sounds like torture. But anyways, Mulvaney hits back at the critics of her Bud Light campaign. But it's kind of funny because Bud Light specifically hasn't still said a goddamn word outside of what, their one statement. I don't know if they posted on social media, but they're definitely regretting their decisions. They're just trying to put out fires of financial fires right now by throwing more money on it. Anyways, in the appearance on Rosie O'Donnell's podcast, Mulvaney, who I just completed, yes, I've done 1 full year of being a girl. Let me tell you what, Rosie, you 60-year-old cretin. The reason that I think I'm an easy target. Come on, I'm an easy target. Is because I'm so new to this. I think I'm going after a trans woman because I've been doing this for like 20 years. But yeah, if you go after a 20-year-old, that's different than going after a dude that just discovered the grift that is transgenderism. It's fucking wild. But while there's a bunch of critics that are out there, there are people that support this insanity, like Zach Bryan, country singer, and Sheryl fucking Crow. Big yuck. Remember the last time she was really popping in the charts? And this just came to mind. When she did a collaboration, she sung a duet that was in the charts back in the, what was that, mid to late 2000s? Who was also on that record? The name seems to escape me. Oh, right, it was Kid Rock, huh? Interesting. Big funny on that one. Funny how they take polar opposite stances and whose careers are doing better. But hey, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But given the fact that you have actual country music legends in John Rich and definitely Travis Tritt, I don't know where you want to put, Big and Rich on the pantheon, but, hey, man, they're definitely something. I know their name, even though I probably listen to their music, but I definitely know their name. They were on the tail end of when country music was tolerable, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, back when Travis Tritt was really hitting like that, but he's a legend. Zach Bryan, on the other hand, I've heard of him. Didn't he have like a Guitar Hero or a Rock Band song out? He's still a part of that whole Rascal Flatts, pop country, lib shit, horse cock, late 2000s, 2010s, fucking, country music shit that sucks dick. Two of country music's biggest stars. I don't know about that, Chief. Ratcheted up the brew, ha. Oh, get it? Because it's beer. Ugh. Grammy-nominated crooner Zach Bryan hit out at comments that are insulting to trans people after Travis Tritt announced he was boycotting Anheuser Busch products to protest Mulvaney's Bud Light partnership. That is insulting to trans people. Yeah, but have you taken a look out at your crowd? Not a lot of trans people. Whole lot of pleasantly plump white women. I mean, no disrespect towards anyone specifically. I don't even mind Travis Tritt. Don't even mind? Bruh, trust me, if there's a country music festival, you're opening for Travis Tritt. So, no offense or no disrespect, but know your fucking place. Know your role and shut your mouth because the people's champ is ready to talk. I just think insulting trans people is completely wrong. Who's insulting anybody? Seems like you're the first one to misappropriate and misuse comments for your own desires. Just saying. We live in a country where we can all just be who we want to be, and it's a great day to be alive. I thought, yeah, exactly. That's what Travis Tritt is doing exactly what he wants to, not engaging with any Bush products that's out there. But then that's apparently unacceptable because you don't toe the company line for Zach Bryan. There's a reason I don't know any of your songs. I know who you are, but outside of that, don't know you. Sheryl Crow, the singer-songwriter. Oh, great. Fan-fucking-tastic. Responded to Bryan with a thank you and a heart emoji. Is Sheryl trying to say something? Listen, I know she had her breast cancer scare here not that long ago. Is she trying to tell us something else? Does she feel kinship with certain transgender people that had a double mastectomy? I'm just wondering. But don't worry, that's not the only person. That's not the only person backing up Bud Light. Joe fucking Rogan. Yes, of course. If you've been hanging around the channel for, as long as your average trans life expectancy, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Rogan. Every once in a while, he'll say something that's fine. I just think that other people are more congruent with their beliefs. Is Joe a decent interviewer? Yes, of course. Does he get big names on his podcast? Don't know. Haven't listened in a very long time, ever since he went over to Spotify. And when I called him out, after he was, just totally complacent about dozens of his old interviews that just magically got Thanos snapped out of existence, and he was totally ambivalent because he got the bag. I said that he was going to become this generation's Howard Stern, and hey man, here we are, because somebody wants to play ball. To be fair though, I don't know the entire context of this right now. He might be trying to be funny, but he was also being funny when he had that N-word compilation leak, and then, he decided to capitulate one more time. He's a couple steps away. He's a few years removed from just putting Jamie in a dunk tank and then just having him laugh at everything that he says. Joe Rogan slammed by fans for defending Bud Light over Dylan Mulvaney sponsorship. Let's see if that's actually the case. I still stand firm on my assessment of Rogan, but I don't know what everybody else is up to, nor do I care what everybody else is up to. Rogan's fan base is soured on the Spotify star after, and again, I would like to see the numbers, because ever since he left YouTube, outside of just whenever CNN wants to take pot shots, he's not hitting like that. You can run the numbers, you can take a look at the search. He's kind of irrelevant, even though, people still want to kiss his ass in order to get on the show. It's the biggest talk show of that type that's out there, but there are other places that do it better. And said the controversy surrounding Mulvaney's partnership. He took a sip of Bud Light during his podcast. We got a screenshot of it, guys. We got him. Okay. Was much ado about nothing. Wonder how much Bud paid him for that. One Twitter user commented. Again, anonymous Twitter comments. The fuck does it even mean? Okay, because I want to hear what Rogan said. Okay, but the rest of this, nonsense. Another Twitter user accused Rogan of sitting on the fence while he plays it safe. Yeah, exactly, because what's always his defense whenever there's, people, the woke mob is banging at the gates? Oh, I just ask questions. I'm just a meathead, and I bring on interesting people. There's a reason Tim Pool looks up to Joe Rogan. Literally, he's the only person that's shorter than Joe. Oh, and I also just made that's weird. Tim Pool and Joe Rogan both have the same amount of letters in their names, both in the given name and their surname. Coincidence? I think not. Because cultural degradation matters, but Joe has never cared about that. Again, history is longer than most people's attention span. I seem to remember him, especially during the 2017, 2018 days, when he had a whole host of those IDW types. How many of them are still relevant? All right, that many. He cared a lot about society back in the cut, but he was on YouTube at that point in time, and he hadn't got to that $100 million contract. Oh, interesting. It's almost like somebody was just playing Culture Warrior, because that was the style at the time. Cool. Rogan dismissed the controversy over the Bud Light ad campaign featuring Mulvaney, a social media, and I don't care. You're not going to say polarizing? Okay. To each their own, I guess. Comments took many by surprise, given that he had come under fire for liberals for a view of some of his past remarks as transphobic. Yeah, specifically, because one of the major points that definitely got under the skin of a bunch of those weirdos was bringing up Fallon Fox in MMA, a dude who beats the brakes off of some women that's out there, and he was making legitimate claims at the time, and it's like, no, you're transphobic. But you can't get him on something that he's a legitimate expert on, even though I disagreed with his assessment that Chris Weidman was the second coming of Jesus in the middleweight division, and who ended up getting proven right on that one. Just saying. Rogan, a fierce critic of cancel culture, again, just somebody who talks about it, never backs up any of the actions, capitulated and totally did a 180 when it came to his take on Andrew Tate, but sure is funny. Sure is funny. He's the person that either side needs him to be, regardless of his actual positions. That's why he's so malleable and a legitimate fence sitter. He hosted author Abigail Schreier, whose book called Irreversible Damage, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters. Podcaster who has ignited protests about his comments. COVID jab, pandemic era lockdowns. Hosted controversial. You don't want to call Mulvaney controversial, but you'll call the fucking, the lobsterman controversial. And other who has been critical of trans culture. But yeah, no, I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm just going to have a drink of Bud Light while I host. I have no idea who that is. Here's my take. All right, let's see. Okay. What they're doing is spreading the brand to an extra group of people. A very small group of people that already know about Budweiser. Legitimately, man. Like, you don't have to market Budweiser to anybody. Everybody can remember several marketing campaigns of Bud Light, or Budweiser in general. Anheuser Busch is pretty much synonymous in the West with alcohol, okay? If you want a beer, it's one of the first ones that immediately comes to mind for just the normie that's out there. It's not exposing, it's pandering, Joe. Come on. Why, if something is good, nobody, like you're looked at funny if you think that Budweiser's, good beer, but okay. Do you give a fuck who's why if something is good, do you give a fuck who's got it? That reads like it's taken out of context. I don't understand that. Okay. Again, it's another one of those situations. I don't care that much, therefore, why should anybody care about it? If you just apply your principles and your moral, or your non-negotiables, perhaps a little bit more congruently, people would take you seriously, and then they would actually have your back whenever shit does eventually once again hit the fan. He suggested that there's too much outrage over the Mulvaney ad campaign since she is a goofy person. Yeah, this is the type of boomer con fucking nonsense that led to media just being the absolute dog shit that it is right now. One of the many hats that Rogan puts on his bald head is a comedian. He had to start his own comedy club because all of the other comedians were scared to tell jokes or were joke placing to the point where everybody was fearful of losing their spot that's out there. But that's all right. That's just a goofy person. What's the worst that could happen? The thing is about this Mulvaney thing is it's just someone who wants a lot of attention, and you've given someone a lot of attention and you're trying to reach someone from another audience. I saw it and I was like, what the fuck is this? Was my initial reaction. It's like, this is silly. And you motherfuckers point out when I say okay a lot. That was verbatim a Joe Rogan quote. A lot of likes in there. Not a lot to like about the statement, but hey, it's in there, Rogan added. But it's also your typical Bud Light fan is NASCAR or sports. That's the most of the people are drinking Bud Light. Yes, so why would you piss off that base in search of the 0.38% of the population? Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. He continued, how is that the big deal? I think it's goofy because I think that person's goofy. But if you want to hire a goofy person, who gives a shit? It's kind of hilarious when somebody says 365 days of womanhood. Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of goofy and hilarious when they're telling your kid about wanting to chop off their dick. It's just goofy, guys. What's the worst that could happen? It's just silly that your daughter wants to lop off her tits. It wasn't like stuff they were selling. Oh, it's just a can with a person's face on it. That's all that was. Exactly. Those ideas will just stay on college campuses. They'll grow up once they get out into the world. Ladies and gentlemen, thought-provoking ideas like that come from the biggest platform that's out there. There's a reason I gave up on that show a long fucking time ago. But it's actually worse than that. It legitimately is worse than that, because nobody in the higher ups had any idea that this stuff was happening. This was specifically from the brainchild of that woke broad from yesterday. Allison? Was her name Allison? The ISIS chick from Harvard. I can't believe that was the name of their place, but that was before ISIS really took off. Heads. How Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney debacle has left Anheuser Busch paralyzed. The company never expected backlash and is now trapped as it refuses to disavow partnership or stand up to critics, PR expert says. Yup, that's why they have been fucking silent on all this nonsense. Oh shit, you gotta send this trans debacle. We're hemorrhaging money at this point in time. We still need to present an all-inclusive face for fear of infuriating woke white women. But then at the same time, we can't continue down this track because, fuck, a boycott's actually working at this point in time. What do we do? Oh, I don't know. Take a look at the other examples when things are just apolitical. Buck the trend. How successful are other properties that are out there? You can take a look at movies right now. John Wick 4, Top Gun, Super Mario. Like, just take a look at that. Is there a political message? Is there woke ideology? Unless, of course, you're Tim fucking Pool who thinks that Super Mario is woke nonsense. Listen, just stick to middle of the road dumbass takes and then just the bubbling hatred you have for your viewership. And then go on a you're about due for another Spurgfest. I'm sure that you're probably feeling the cramps and you're about to have a social media period. Whatever, I'm sure it'll make for some inspired music. Bud Light parent company Anheuser Busch appears to be trapped between a rock and a hard place. Which one's the tranny dick? The hard place or the rock? As it grapples with polarization over its brand's partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. Since the controversy emerged on April 1st, Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch's main social media accounts have fallen silent. Like 42% of them. Never forget. Despite major sporting events of the kind the brand typically chimes in on. Yeah, opening day for baseball, March Madness, absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Like, imagine, Anheuser-Busch is deathly quiet when you have the St. Louis Cardinals opening up Busch Field, Busch Stadium. Interesting. Aside from the initial terse statement, Anheuser-Busch has also ignored media requests on the issue. Last week, a Missouri distributor canceled an event featuring the famed Budweiser Clydesdales. Oh, man. Now they got to go and do an event at the glue factory. That sucks. Citing safety concerns. Nah, nobody's going to beat up the horses. Them motherfuckers is big. They never expected the reaction that they got, said Gareth Boyd, a marketing and PR expert with Forte Analytica, speaking to DailyMail.com on Thursday as an industry observer. Right now, if they responded and they don't get it right, they're only going to hurt themselves further. So right now they're in the modality of paralysis by analysis, because yeah, they've got to tread lightly, because, you know, peek this. Dylan Mulvaney has now earned over $1 million since becoming a girl. According to Daily Mail, a man who routinely mocks, parodies, and, oh, I don't know if it's an insult. It's more or less, hey, ladies, here, I'm going to hold up a mirror to everything that you say you don't want to be when it comes to being a woman. And given the fact that I'm not a woman, I can just go ahead and do it and make it as lampoonish as possible. Joe Rogan appreciates my performance art, bigot. When young people see Dylan, they want to emulate his success, wealth, and fame. Yeah, because to be completely honest, it's fucking easy, man. Like, you gotta have a unique angle on this. Like, yeah, 100 years, never gonna last that long, Christ almighty. 1 full year to become a girl. Oh, okay, cool, fantastic. What are you gonna do after that? Celebrate by making $1 million on brand deals? Okay. So if somebody starts documenting weeks of womanhood, because he already got girlhood, you know, on lock. And I said back when I was a little bit more concerned of, you know, what's this ultimately going to end up happening, because I do have a heart after all. I'm not completely ice cold. Well, the moment a BIPOC individual comes around, all of those deals are going to start to dry up for Dylan, like her non-existent Snatch. He's just going to become another statistic, just like a one-hit wonder, you know, just here today, gone tomorrow. The summer of Dylan will be replaced by the summer of LaQuisha, or the summer of Zenaida. That's what the fuck you can expect. Somebody with just the most racist depiction of whatever culture that they come from, coupled with outrageously hilarious prosthetics. That's going to be the next thing that pops up. You goddamn well better believe it. Like if that shop teacher from Oakville, Ontario had any swag, yo man, he'd be filling that spot right now. Maybe a little bit too old for some of the groomers that are in Hollywood, but it's a marketable look just as much as Dylan is on the other side of that. Like I was saying before, top executives at Bud Light had no idea that brand's marketing department had approved the Dylan Mulvaney collaboration. Two sources at the brand have told Daily Wire, but every once in a while they do some good work. Like their journalism is fine, okay? It's just their talking heads that I have a problem with. According to the sources, no one at a senior level had any idea of the partnership, and the decision to feature Mulvaney in the ad campaign was made by low-level marketer or marketing staffer. Interesting. Is that what you refer to your VP of marketing as? Oh, that's interesting. But that's all right. We actually have an inside scoop as to what the new Bud Light commercial is going to be. I mean, like, it looks a little low budget. Okay, it looks a little stripped down from the Dylan stuff, but I think this could resonate with a larger group of people that are out there. Definitely aimed towards the Bud Light market. So just take a look.
Dare.
I dare you to call your crush.
Ooh.
What?
Shoot, I kind of don't need to call my crush because they're in this car.
Oh no.
And it's
I see that. Oh, I seen that for the first time. Oh my, I just about died when I fucking seen that. So, oh God, like I said, man, I really hope you guys all had a fantastic day, and you know something fucking nuts is gonna happen tomorrow. And when it happens, I'll be there to cover it. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.